Well, it's 7:45. I've just walked in the door after a lovely week's annual leave, and it's chaos.
Oh no.
Got apparently 2 people have rung in sick. Someone's gone AWOL. We just can't find them, and there's been a massive safeguarding issue while I was off.
Oh no.
And I've got about 400 emails in my inbox that I need to go through.
Only 400?
Yeah, about 400. I daren't open them. Yeah, so now I need to look through my to-do list, which started out quite long and it's just got significantly longer. So I need to have a look and see how am I going to do all this today.
Wow. I bet you wish I hadn't had that week
I really
now.
do.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay.
It's always the same. You go off for a week's holiday, you just don't know what's going to happen, what you're going to be faced with when you come back.
Absolutely, yeah. I wish we'd a pound for every time that had happened every time we've been away on holiday. But,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I know.
So in this episode, I think that's something we should talk about. Let's have a look at how do we manage those often competing priorities. Everything's urgent, everything's important. So maybe that's a good place for us to start this conversation. So
Yeah.
yeah. So where are you going to start then? Because it sounds like there's so many different things going on there. How on earth do you prioritise that kind of stuff?
I mean, not everything on my list is going to be urgent. You know, there are things that probably I can put off and delay by a day or whatever, but I'm going to have to delegate some stuff out to the deputy and the nurses and the seniors because I physically can't do it all myself. You know, I'm spinning enough plates at the best of times, but they've just added another 3. So I'm a bit like an octopus, actually, the number of plates I'm trying to
You
spin.
need 8 arms.
I definitely need 8
plates.
arms, absolutely, absolutely. So it's identifying what's the most urgent. You know, I need to make sure the team are okay.
Yeah.
You know, if 2 people have rung in sick and we've got someone AWOL, can we draft someone else in? You know, I'll get the admin on that, get our phoning round people.
Yeah.
Make sure we can get somebody in, use the bank staff, you know. Get the deputy who's normally supernumerary, get them to go on the floor and help out till we can get someone in. So at least we know the residents are safe.
So I guess it's really about kind of mobilising the team around you as well, isn't it? Get them to share the problem so it's not just you that's having to deal with that.
And
Is that
asking
right?
them, you know, have they come up with any solutions? Because they've been here half an hour longer than me already. So what have they done to try and solve the problem?
Maybe some of those are kind of half solved already.
Possibly,
you don't know.
yeah. We just need to go through and speak to the team and make sure that they've managed to get something done and that the place is safe.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to leave them without enough staff. So that's probably my major priority. The emails will just need to wait. No doubt there'll be someone from head office wanting something urgently in the next hour, but unfortunately it'll just need to wait.
Urgent figures, urgent report.
Absolutely, the report can wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can go in late. The team and the residents are priority.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, this safeguarding incident that's happened while I've been off, I'll need to have a look at that and see what that entails and if any investigation started. Make sure that nothing untoward has happened and that I can start getting that addressed. You know? So, it's just making sure that the right priorities take precedence.
Absolutely. And when you're in that situation, I know I've been in that situation many times as well, as I know you have been. And sometimes it feels everything's important and everything's urgent, isn't it? And it's like, how do we kind of differentiate those two things? Because I think people often put important and urgent together, don't they? They say, oh, everything is important and urgent. But actually important and urgent are different, aren't they? So important is it adding value? What priority do we need to give to it? And urgency is about kind of, I guess, the time with which we need to do it by. But sometimes it feels like it's all kind of merging into one, doesn't it?
Oh, it can be. It can be really, really overwhelming. And, you know, and I think if you've not got a lot of experience in managing a team in a care home, it can get to you. It can make you feel really, really down.
Yeah.
You know, you think, I just can't cope. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So it's a case of kind of putting it all in individual boxes and saying, okay, well, that can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or that urgent report that they need immediately because they've forgotten to send you the email a week ago. Will definitely have to wait. You know, and if they phone to say, where's my report? I'll say, I'm sorry, it's not exactly a priority on my list today.
So when you're in that situation, then do you kind of, I don't know, I would imagine you kind of write these things down? Do you do some sort of priority list of what's important, what's urgent, what's not so?
Absolutely. I've always got my to-do list. You know me, I've always got a list of what I need to do. And what I'll do is I'll cross through the ones that aren't particularly important and that can wait. And then I usually highlight and number the ones that I'm going to do in the order I'll do them in.
Right.
You have to be pretty organised, I think, otherwise it just ends up chaos.
Yeah.
And you start doing one thing, drift off on a tangent to do something else, and nothing gets finished. So it's making sure that I complete a job before I start something else as well.
So you go in, you prioritise your plan, what's important, what's urgent, what do we need to do first, and then I think you talked about kind of how do we then mobilise the team, how do we get people to help us, because it's just one person. You might be the manager there, but you can't do everything. Obviously, it's impossible, isn't it?
We've all managers have got a lot on their plate, but when something like that, when you're throwing a curveball like that, it can knock you for six. So it's getting people. The admin can take over the report. They can get that sorted for me.
Yeah.
The deputy can go and help the team, can boost morale.
Yeah.
It's looking after the team as well, making sure that you're thanking them.
Yeah.
Because it can be a thankless job at the best of times, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And if they're down on numbers, there's even more pressure on them to make sure that everything's done correctly and how the residents like it. So
Absolutely.
It puts a lot of pressure on the team.
Sure.
And it's making sure that say thank you every time I see them, thanking them for what they do. And
if you've got credit in the bank with people, it's easy to kind of draw on that credit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know what that in future episodes we'll talk about that in kind of more detail, won't we? About how can we actually help teams be motivated, engaged, and make sure that they're included and supported.
Absolutely. And and the team will be terrified when they hear the term safeguarding as well.
Yeah.
Because they'll think, oh my goodness, we're going to get into trouble. What's going to happen here?
Yeah.
Are we going to have inspectors and people from local authority in the building looking at everything, watching everything we do? And it's reassuring them that, sometimes safeguarding will raise them, to protect the residents and the team.
Yeah.
It's not always because something bad has happened, and it's, it's making sure that they know we're protecting them and looking out for them as well. It's not just that they don't have to be terrified. And
some of those words are quite scary, aren't they? If they don't understand what it's about, so safeguarding, inspection,
absolutely,
audit. Even a word like audit can be really kind of daunting, I guess, if people don't understand what that's about.
They do, and I think that's why I try and involve the team in things like that. And as part of the safeguarding investigation, I'll ask some of the team to help me with that. I wouldn't do it all myself. It's physically impossible to do the whole investigation yourself anyway. So you involve the team as much as you can, and sort of show them that actually it's a process that has to be followed.
Yeah.
That not to worry about it.
And you talked earlier about, excuse me, about spinning plates.
Yeah.
And it's just another plate that you got to spin.
Absolutely.
It's difficult though, isn't it, when you're trying to literally keep all of those plates spinning, but sometimes you have to really focus in on one of those plates.
Yeah.
And I guess the trick is making sure that we still at least have an eye on the other plates as well, because it'd be very easy just to drop the other plates, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. You can't just focus on the one thing. You're still bearing in mind that you've got all these other things happening. It's a living situation. You've got people living there. You've got people who do need things from you, which you do have to do on a daily basis. You can't get away from your normal daily routine just because someone's thrown this curveball at you. You have to actually carry on and do your day-to-day job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of that's about making sure residents are safe, that you're visible and out there on the floor, that the team know you're there to support them, that they can come and talk to you.
Yeah.
You might be snowed under, you might have a mountain of paperwork on your desk, but my door's always open and the team know they can come in and talk to me at any point. Even if I'm really busy, I'll put it aside. I can always give someone 5 minutes, just make that time for them.
Kind of keeping you calm and control, I guess, when things are going a little bit...
Absolutely.
A little bit scary.
Yeah. I'll be like a swan on a pond, all calm and serene on the outside and inside.
Underneath the water.
Yeah. Feet going 10 to the dozen. So, you are constantly remembering that you've got those plates spinning in the background and you can't take your eye off any of them. Yeah. So it's having that ability to focus on everything and still concentrate on what you're doing at the time.
Focus on everything, but still at the same time focus intensely on one particular thing.
Yeah.
You've talked about using the team, getting them on board, delegating, sharing that responsibility as well, which that makes perfect sense. I think, I think part of the role of being a manager in social care is that you're dealing with unexpected things. It's kind of it's just a thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It might be a daily thing. A curveball. You talk about a curveball.
Yeah.
Curveballs come in, don't they? But I think the other side of that for me as a manager is that actually there are still a lot of things that we can control and we can plan for. So I think one of my phrases, is control the controllables. Yeah. So how many things can we actually control, but still, expect the curveball to come in? So controlling the controllables, but expecting the unexpected, I guess, is a bit of a balance there.
Absolutely.
Do you think?
I can set myself a to-do list and a schedule of audits, for example.
Yeah.
We've got hundreds of audits to do over the period of a month, but I can set myself certain numbers of audits to do each day. but they can be pushed back if need be, so I can control when I do them and how I do them. Can't control someone going AWOL or someone going off sick, unfortunately. Can certainly manage the sickness absence when they come back and make sure that we're doing everything we can if we have to make any adjustments and things like that. But there are things, as you say, that you can control, but some other things are just completely outside of your control. You just can't do anything about them.
And many of those things we've talked about there that we're going to kind of drill into, aren't we, in future episodes? Things like performance conversations, people who are not turning up for work, we'll kind of get involved in the detail of that.
Yeah.
So I guess in terms of top tips, what would your top tips be? So if somebody walks into the situation that you've walked into after a week's holiday and everything has just kind of gone crazy, what are the top things that you probably suggest?
Don't panic.
Don't panic. Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
You will, and it is about prioritising.
Yeah.
You know, just because someone else says something's really important, on the day, it's probably not.
Yeah.
And it's not urgent. It doesn't have to be done in a timely set time.
Yeah.
It can wait till later, or you can ask someone else to do it.
Yeah.
And it's using your team's abilities. If you know someone's really good at dealing with certain situations or doing certain tasks, use them.
Yeah.
Use their strengths
Yeah.
and build on it, and it gives them more confidence if they know that you're going to trust them to do something that you would normally do.
Yeah, absolutely. So get everybody involved in kind of dealing with the situation that you've got. But I think that's for me. It's a really key thing. Is that important v urgent that you talked about there? Important is why we should be doing it. Urgent is when we need to be doing it. And getting clarity on important and or urgent,
definitely,
and then working out a plan on how we get there.
Yeah.
But, so we can control the controllable, but expect the unexpected. The life of a manager.
Absolutely.
In
Never panic.
Care. Never panic. We'll take that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been great chatting to you about your start to the day. I'm sure you'll absolutely smash it. You'll be fine. And thank you very much. And I'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank you.